This call is being recorded.
Hey guys, this is Joe. Who else is on the line that's live?
I think I'm alive. It's Mike.
I just almost heard somebody. Was that Michael Wolchek up in Canada land?
Yes, it was.
Michael, you are super quiet, like your microphone has a poor connection. I'm not sure the cause, but FYI, I just hear some Michael Wolchek toned static.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Joe? Because I can hear Michael.
Wow.
I can hear Chris.
I can almost tell what you're saying. It sounds very intelligent static.
Okay, Joe, I'm thinking you need to turn up your volume.
Check if it's me or Michael. Is anyone else on the line? If so, please speak, and then I'll know if it sounds the same, in which case it's my connection, or if it sounds different, then I'll surmise that it's Michael's connection.
Chris is also on the call, and I'm hearing Michael just fine.
Oh, it is my connection then. Hold on, I may be able to correct this without crashing my car. Nope, can't do it while crashing my car. I realize the problem. It is my problem. I will correct it in about 2 minutes when I park. And we're home. Okay, the problem was I neglected to put my phone on speaker, so I was hearing a very, very far away, quiet voice. How do I put this on speaker? Here we go. Okay, if somebody could say something again.
We are testing.
Yep.
Can you hear?
Perfect. Okay. Yes, I am now good to go. Thank you for being patient with me. And I am at home with my wife's and my dinner. Success. Folks, maybe it makes sense to get started. Who would like to kick us off?
I guess I'll go ahead and go. Quite a bit of that I was actually able to get done. Okay, so I actually tried to schedule the particular meeting differently this time. I created a special calendar for it under the same account that's used to use YouTube. I created a separate calendar that's not shared to the public, I created an event and tried to invite the Google group. Didn't actually work, so I had to do it manually still. But okay, so other than that, I set up website login for James' press site so we can check out Google Analytics. I also actually verified that Google Analytics it's already set up and working. It's been tracking stuff for several months, so we actually already have access to that. I also set up Google Webmaster Tool, which is used for creating like sitemaps and things like that and uploading them to Google to get better search results. And what are you demoing? What do I got here? So Google Analytics shows page visits, things like that. You can break it down to individual pages, so what you can see what's drawing in different traffic. I believe right now the car page is obviously bringing in the most, but you can drill down further with that. Webmaster Tools gives you some of the same information, but it gives you access to these sitemaps, which allow you to upload all of the pages in some sort of a hierarchy to Google and allow them to index the page better. I also installed the SEO plugin. I used Yoast on in WordPress, and that allowed me to create the sitemap file that I uploaded to Google. It also has several other options in there for when we start getting a little more involved with SEO. It's sort of an all-in-one, all-inclusive plugin. And I think that may be it for my backlog. I do have some blocks. There we go. So I need an Libre license or Geo Magic license. I think I sent a request earlier today, but I'll need that for what I plan on working on for next week. And I have not figured out yet how to send the like a calendar invite through Google. It won't send to the Google group for some reason. I can send it to individual people, and really that's getting further away from. I'm trying to automate more of the processes, and adding a phone number for people to dial in has made more processes manual. So I'm just trying to whittle those down a little bit. So I haven't figured out a good way to automate it yet, so if anybody has any ideas on a way to automate the invite, it doesn't have to be a calendar necessarily. That's just one option I was trying that I thought would work well. And that's it for my blocks. Are we doing sprint planning too? Okay. So I'm going to get back to the WIKISPEED curriculum after I get the Libre license. I want to make sure I'm building it off of the latest designs. And I plan on meeting on Friday with James Keyes. We'll do a meetup and start talking about, we'll go over the website analytics that we're trying to set up and discuss that further. So, and I think that's it for my sprint planning.
Fantastic and a half, Dr. Wallace. I especially enjoyed seeing the analytics because I haven't seen analytics for the new website on WordPress. Please do the analytics page so that interested persons such as myself can take a peek. Please let us know how to get in and mine data when you can. No urgent rush, but I'm curious to be able to mine data there when I can. In the last week, the big news is we did ship off car number 6 to Germany. Now we've made more than 6 cars. We're past car number 6, but we got car number 6 back because there was we cosmetically damaged the chassis when we were building it. So we kept car number 6 and then sent off car number 7 and 8, etc. So car number 6 has been used for development purposes by the team, and it had the latest, greatest suspension design, the one that I'm sending to Michael Wolchek. And that went off to Germany land just yesterday, I think. Very exciting there. So what that all involved in other related work last sprint was removing the existing interior module and switching it for an interior module that was cosmetically as beautiful as possible. We determined that to be important for the German build party and then the member green race team. We machined new, stronger tie rod adapters for suspension version 30.10, and then took measurements from those for future enhancements as well. Built new front crush structures, new rear crush structures, then attached them. Validated the door assembly, the door side beam and the hinges, and then removed that. We decided not to send that to Germany, and instead built and attached legacy side impact crush structures that we've had more experience with. We attached the windshield frame and removed the polycarbonate windshield because we didn't know what requirements the race team would need, but then we sent them a windshield frame, and packaged headlights, tools, and fasteners for them. I did also finally find a metric fastener source that was cheaper than grade 8 Imperial fasteners, SAE, and ordered $500 used to be the amount it would cost us for nuts and bolts for one car. I was able to spend $500 and order enough metric nuts, bolts, and washers for 5 cars. And the first of those arrived today. So we're switching from 3/8 grade 8 to metric 10 millimeter, 1.5 thread pitch, grade class 10.9, which is the equivalent of grade 8. And it's awesome and a half, and it's even cheaper now. So we're more standard with our European partners, even better. In the last sprint, also ordered tools and fasteners for Germany. In both cases, those orders were canceled by the company saying after the fact that they can't ship to Germany. I'm working now with someone in Germany to order them locally from Amazon.de, which I can't order from in the States. I can't figure out how to anyway. So if someone knows a way around that, let me know. Otherwise, this workaround is working for now. Gosh, I know that's only part of what happened, but that's what's top of mind. There was more development on the door systems, the interior systems, the aeroshell, and roll cage design, but none of those were built. That was all design work. I did update something in CAD, but I can't remember what it was. I did update our brake systems plumbing, and the new parts just arrived. So if I'm lucky, that will be in the demo video tonight, making it even easier for people to build the braking systems elsewhere around in the world. I don't remember what else. There's a few other things. This sprint, I hope to ship car number 8 off to Tucson, Arizona for a 5-day build party happening there. And there's quite a bit I'd like to do to car number 8 before it goes if I can. So I just picked up car number 8 back from our Renton joint venture factory along with its engine module and a whole bunch of engine wiring and plumbing. So I'll be doing quite a bit of engine work tonight, I hope. Reattaching the door tubes and hinges to that car and starting to stub out the foam connections that attach the 3-piece aeroshell to that chassis in time to go to Tucson. Wow, that's going to be a lot, but please wish me luck. I also will be sending Chris Wallace on the Libre or the Magic license, and I will ask the team to help me lovingly encourage my wife to process past year's financials. We have a different type of evaluating profit and loss for the non-for-profit application to support Lauren's work there. And it took the missus about 4 hours to do half of 1 year. And we have 3 years to do. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 is about 20 more hours. If I've got, I might have just done the math wrong in my head, even though it was simple math. So please send vibe positive E or whatever that is to the missus while she is raising our adorable baby girl to also process our past finances. Or wish on me lots of free time to help process that. Or someone please volunteer to look at a whole bunch of WIKISPEED past bank statements and credit card statements to fill in the categories required by the not-for-profit application for the last 3 years. That would be even better if somebody wants to. That's also my top block. My second top block is I've never been an internal combustion engine mechanic, and I have a ton of internal combustion engine work in the next sprint. So please send me support thoughts and YouTube how-to videos, or if you have a friend who's an SAE mechanic or something similar with a bunch of vacation time or currently between jobs, send them my way in the next 2 sprints. I will buy them dinner. I think that's what I've got in the way of blocks. Cool. Who would like to go next?
Well, I think that leaves me as usual. Pretty short update. Accelerator pedal, I got it on order finally from NetGain Controls. I gave up on the local guy, unfortunately. Would have been handy to have a local, but such is life. And besides the accelerator pedal, working on the battery, battery case, battery pack, trying to get it connected to the WIKISPEED module in a sturdy but not welded method is more challenging than I kind of thought it would be. I don't have any blocks, and planning for next week is hopefully receiving the accelerator pedal and getting it connected to the DC controller, making it work, making the engine module spin the axles on battery power, and making progress on the battery module, getting it bolted in. And that's about it.
I love the sound of that, Michael. I wish you all kinds of luck. Please let me know if there's something I can do to help you remotely, because I'm very excited to hear about those axles spinning. And especially now that it sounds like the accelerator problem is hopefully resolved, to be determined. I'll be looking forward to that update. Is there anyone else with a stand-up who has not yet given it? Success. That takes us to retrospective. We always do retrospective after demo when we show what's not, because that's the time when we know the most. I did film a whole bunch of demo videos. I do hope to upload them this weekend. So please be expecting those. For retrospective, I am a 10 and 10. I am so impressed that website analytics just magically was conquered by James Keyes and Chris Wallace. You guys are phenomenal, in addition to more jive. And then Michael continues to make headway on the electric module development. Plus, visiting the joint venture factory today is always inspiring to me, and seeing all the development there, both on the electric module that they have developed there using a NetGain Warp 11, and also on all the chassis that are being built there. Plus, it looks like the bolt-together chassis is our next chassis, which should totally eliminate welds there, and our parking brake updated module, all the remaining pieces for it arrived today. So in the next sprint or two, we'll know a whole lot more about that. I'm completely pumped, 10 and 10. What it would take for me to be just as pumped next sprint is another demo just like this, where each of us that were able to attend have meaningful contribution, and a whole bunch of team members that for whatever reason don't dial into stand-up, I don't know why, also have meaningful contributions, which is totally exciting to see. Who would like to go next with retrospective?
I'll go. So I would say probably a 9 for me. I was actually able to get a whole lot done, but again, with some of the things that can't be automated, I can't give myself a full 10 because I can't work on some of the stuff that I'd like to, manual stuff than I'd like to. For the team, I'll give it a 9.99 because everybody's doing super awesome. And that leaves a little bit of room for improvement. So, and yeah, I think for the thing that would probably improve it just a little bit is again having more people on the stand-up. But that's about it.
Okay, I guess that leaves me, and I'm going to go with a 7 for me. I did get some stuff done, but it doesn't feel like much. And 9.5 for the team. Things are moving, and it'll be actually my process of improvement would be to gain somehow more visibility into the joint venture factory. Somehow, if they could be posting, or if there was a webcam or something, some time-lapse video, just to see what Joe is being inspired by when he does his visits. I think that would bring more people in.
That sounds actionable, Michael. I like that. I'll see if I can't get a time-lapse camera that directly uploads to the internet, I'll look online, and if other people know of one or look up one online, please send me a link, and I'll price it. Once I can afford it, I will attempt to get one and install it in that shop. The shop does have internet access, so IP cam should work, but if I can find one that has its own type of internet solution, like a little cell phone in it or something, I'll price that too, just to know. I mean, it sounds very possible with the tech we have today. I'll take a look.
I second that. That would be awesome.
I know, right? And while we're looking, I should probably try to put one in the Linwood shop if we find a viable solution. And I should probably try to put one in Chris's office and in Michael's shed. Awesomely awesome. Okay, guys.
I'm pretty sure I don't have bandwidth to...
Right. Well, that's why it's a time lapse. So even with intermittent connections, it uploads the last hour of, 1 second video snaps whenever it can. That's I'd want to do that versus a live stream. We'll see. And if we're able to do that, we'd probably add a shop cam page to the website where people can play through the time lapse. That's the thing, it's not real time, so you need to play it. Or we just upload it to YouTube automatically once a week or something. Oh, that'd be even better if we can pull that off. Yes, a camera that does that. Someone invent that if it doesn't exist. Folks, that concludes all the required meetings to run the company for a week. Thank you very much. Are there any cross Q&A we want to cover before we adjourn? Success! With that, oh, go ahead, Michael.
You were talking about suspension module shipping?
Yes.
Or possible shipping?
Yes.
When you ship them up, let me know what it'll cost me to add the crush structure, because I've looked in a couple of places and it doesn't seem easy to get the 6063 up here.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm happy to. For you, Michael, it's at materials cost. You're an active contributor to the team, and you're amazing. So let me bundle those up. I do have a question for you about the suspension module. Now's probably a good time to ask it. Sadly, there's currently a trade-off. The current suspension module, V30.10, has adjustable Ackerman, which was our Achilles heel for highway driving. It's very stable. It's awesome. The trade-off is it has no articulation. It relies purely on the tires as great big bushings, which is functional, but it feels much more like a BMW M Series or a full race car, and the suspension does not articulate at all. Like, literally, it is rigid. If that is good enough for you, because I actually kind of like it, it's very sporty, it is ready. If that is not, you would want the next iteration, which does not yet exist.
Okay. I've mentioned before that I think I'm going to have a little bit of trouble getting plates on this in Canada. So I'm kind of expecting to use it off-road for the first little bit. So no suspension would be really, really bone-shaking.
Yes, it would. Exciting, invigorating, enlivening. But yeah, that's why I brought it up. I remembered you saying that. That said, I believe we'll be able to get this plated in Canada, but maybe not right away. So it does sound like V31 is what you would want, which, well, we're all working on.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not in a huge hurry. I'm excited about the bolt-together, completely bolted-together version because, as I said, welding is a bit of a challenge to try and find someone who, A, has the time, and B, isn't going to charge me a whole bunch of money. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and there's plenty of people with aluminum welding skill, but it's also difficult to audit an aluminum weld. That's a very specialized skill all in itself to know if it's been done extremely well. So the bolt-together option it's just phenomenally more do-it-yourself friendly and fail-safe. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I've actually asked a couple of welders how you tell the difference between a good weld and a bad weld on aluminum, and they mostly say, well, you can watch the guy as he's doing it, or you can destructive test it, and that seems to be the two options. I mean, you can X-ray it, but then you're pretty much made out of money. So.
I love it. Right. the embodied energy in welding is pretty high. So let's also sidestep that if it's responsible. And it looks like it is now. Cool. Any other questions or crosstalk that are important for the next week? Success. All right, guys.
How badly, Joe, do you want an electric motor module?
Very badly. However, my finances are not unlimited, but I deeply yearn for it. I really do think electric drive is completely the future. The internal combustion engine is over, and the sooner that's viably over, the better.
Okay, well, there's a few decisions to make, like how much you want to spend on the batteries, how much you want to spend on the charger, that kind of stuff. So maybe we need to discuss that, probably not today, but in the near future, so that I can start getting stuff lined up. I'm assuming you want to do it as cheaply as possible, so...
So the current figures to beat are with a gasoline engine, all new parts. We're able to 140 horsepower, 124 foot-pounds of torque, and then essentially the range is high, right, because it's a gas tank, for $10,000. If we can meet or beat that at similar performance figures, well, that's perfect. The target, though, is less than $5,000 for something that's able to reach highway speed. So I would call that 65 miles per hour, 85 miles per hour being exceptionally good. And then to have a meaningful range, which I would call more than 25 miles, when driven very gently. And I don't even mind if it has a nanny accelerator that prevents you from going flat out. So it's always being gentle on the batteries and powertrain. But those are the figures to beat, to be versus gasoline.
Okay. Yeah, because new parts, I don't think I'm going to be able to touch that unless I find some source that no one has heard of yet. The used stuff you could probably get in the neighborhood of 5, but 25 miles would be more in town, and I don't know.
Yep, I hear you.
Even if you're buying a good electric fork truck motor, you're still in the 1,000, 1,500 to control it takes you another 1,000, and your battery pack is where better than half of it goes. So it's 5,000 is a really tough number to hit.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, and we'll prototype with used parts, and so I'm happy to use used parts. But hopefully those prototypes are pointing to something that we could do with new parts, some reasonable figure. An interim thought that I'm willing to work with is to have a great big generator in there. I know Harbor Freight now has a 22 horsepower generator for, oh gosh, it's like $1,200, something like that. And I'd be happy to put that in lieu of most of the batteries, so it's constantly topping off the very few batteries that are there. That way the few batteries that are there are buffer and provide a little extra oomph so that there's more than a total of 22 horsepower. Well, losses from the gasoline engine to the generator, right? But maybe it's cheaper that way to replace some of the batteries with a generator.
It probably is. I don't know what your rules are. In Canada, anything that is mounted onto a vehicle must meet emissions for a vehicle, and none of the generators that I'm aware of do.
Oh, right. So we can attach catalytic converters, and I don't know how bad they are. I've not measured emissions on any of these generators. But I believe the emissions requirements are the same here in that regard. But I wonder if we can't make them meet emissions with some junkyard parts. I don't know if that's true. That's wishful thinking on my part.
Okay, well, we'll put together some options, and we'll probably be exchanging some emails.
Okay, because yes, an electric engine module is very important to me. I don't have limitless resources, but it's the future.
Hey, Michael, I'd also request as you're looking into where you're going to source the parts, that maybe if you could post like a bill of materials with prices next to each item, like a parts list, to the team, so that maybe people can identify there's individual components that can be either sourced cheaper or possibly be redesigned to be cheaper?
Sure. The parts list is going to be general because I can't be too specific without taking away the flexibility. But like a transmission and an adapter plate and add a motor with a controller kind of thing. So.
Like I said, just as long as maybe there's like an average price for what each component's costing, so that people can maybe attack it from that point of view, to figure out what's the most valuable thing to maybe try to cut some cost on.
I'm also I don't know how many horsepower you need and what torque that translates into. Once I get my Mazda running, the controller I've got is quite flexible, so I'll be able to limit the torque, and limit the battery amps, limit the motor amps separately, so I can get a little bit of an idea of what's the minimum acceptable acceleration, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the very peak power we'd need, unless the battery system increases the weight a whole lot over 700 pounds, because right now the engine module is about 700 pounds. Currently, the max power needed is 50. And that gives us plenty of acceleration. The fact that we have 140 horsepower is why the car is actually ridiculously fast. The steady power is almost always less than 10 horsepower. So if we can steady output around 10, if the weight is similar, and if our peak is anywhere near 50, that's plenty. That would give us better performance than a Toyota Prius.
Okay, so actually a fork truck motor can do those numbers. The problem is with the DC motors, if you drive them for over an hour, hour and a half, you start getting the motor overheated and you start causing some serious maintenance issues in the future. But our pack isn't going to be big enough to drive for an hour and a half, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for the first couple.
See, you solved the problem. Plus, when it comes to cooling, I mean, that's just a mechanics and fluids problem. I'm sure we can solve that. No problem.
Okay. All right, guys, are we done?
Complete. All right, gentlemen, you are phenomenal to work with. Have amazing days. Chris, thank you so much for setting up the Hangout, recording it, and even the dial-in number. I am grateful for it.
Have we mentioned to everybody that we have the dial-in number? Because I don't think anybody's tried it yet.
It's in the invite. It's in the invite and then the calendar, the task. But no one has tried it yet. Actually, I think that was going to be what gave me the extra 0.01 earlier. Was if maybe next time somebody, even on the call, can dial in, because it hasn't been tested yet. So I'd be interested to see what it sounds like. I know how it works. I've dialed into one in a separate call to test it, but it has not been tested on these Hangouts yet.
Chris, what's the phone number? It's partly asterisk.
It's 857. And there'll be a PIN number once you dial into it.
Sorry, my audio cut out. All I have is 857.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 857-216-6168.
Okay, and then the PIN?
The PIN, I think it'll ask you for, but it's 80543.
Okay, guys. Talk to you next week.
Test. I'll mute my. I muted my laptop.
Use the laptop to keep the feedback. Awesome.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you good, and it brings up a neat little. I don't know if that's your phone number, maybe, but it brings up
no.
a little map of where you're at, and I can see you on the.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good deal. Well, I'll mark that off the list then. I guess I am a 10.
All right, I'm going to disconnect. Have an amazing week.
All right. Good night, Joe.